Hi, welcome aboard. The Australian fiberglass boat building industry kicked in around about the early 1950s, and back in those days we made exact copies, in fact flops, of American fiberglass boats. Now back in those days American fiberglass boats were runabouts, or occasionally they were half cabins, and that's what we got here. But as the industry grew, it became clear that different people had different requirements as far as their boats were concerned. Now, large manufacturers have a range of boats which fulfil all of those requirements, and generally you'll find the same hull from the gunnels down has different top sides to fulfil different purposes. But it's also true to say that there are requirements for boats which are more specialised than that. And those requirements are generally filled by small boutique specialised boat builders such as Eagle Marine, who build this centre console. Now, this boat has been on the market for nearly 5 years, and as such it anticipated a trend which has popped up in the 90s for large either centre console or walk around offshore fishing boats, and the major manufacturers are in the process of looking at introducing models such as those, and of course we'll see those in coming weeks on the show. But the Eagle centre console is a big boat. As you can see from these shots, it runs absolutely beautifully. It's designed specifically and is perfect for serious offshore fishing, whether that be reef, surface or light game fishing. The boat has all of the appointments which anybody who's serious about doing that will need. Come with me and I'll show you some of them. The deck of the Eagle is raised from about amidships, and it comes up to a large fully moulded cathead which is extremely strong. There's an anchor locker here, which as you can see is as accessible as it's possible to get, and there's plenty of room for a lot of road in there and chain, and it's easy enough to access the cathead on the end of the anchor and the bollard. So that makes working the bow of the boat easy and safe in rough weather. There's a nicely padded seat on the forward end of the centre console tower, and there's a hatch for stowage and access, and that is a back for this seat to make it even more comfortable when you're sitting on it. So there's plenty of very comfortable accommodation for everybody aboard the boat. Now, the console itself, the tower, is extremely interesting. Let's have a look at that. Centre console boats are essentially open boats. And then a boat of this size, which is going to be used offshore, it's essential that the console provide a reasonably snug and protected environment for the driver, because it's his responsibility to make sure that nothing serious happens. Now, this is set up with a large fiberglass moulding which has all of the instruments in plain view of the driver, including radio, everything that he could possibly need, along with a lockable glove compartment there, throttle on the left-hand steering wheel. But there's also a stainless steel structure which supports a sunshade over the top. It's possible to clip soft covers in around here. There are soft covers already in there, so that he's in quite a snug environment. Now, there's also a very interestingly an elastic carrying strap for life jackets and for towels and for soft gear up underneath the Targa top here. That's a beautifully executed stainless steel structure which would certainly last forever and do the job that's asked of it. Now, the driver will usually drive standing up, but if he wants to be comfortable, there is a large cooler bin there which can be used obviously as a fish bin and for other purposes, with ice in it to preserve fish, with water in it as a kill tank, whatever you require. That certainly is extremely handy and makes it comfortable for the driver when he needs. After that is a seat which doubles as a game chair, and that is fully removable, so you can open up the after end of the cockpit. And down aft there is a large live bait tank with a nylon top which you can use as a work surface, and above that there is a bait preparation area, again with a nylon surface there which you can use as a bait board, as a fish cleaning board, and as a preparation area. Now, one of the nice things about this boat is the fact that the engine is pod mounted, which keeps it out of the boat and means that none of the engine intrudes on the usable area inside the boat. And by the way, on either side of the aft quarters there is again a couple of comfortable little padded seats which you can use to sit down when you're reef fishing. Up each side there's large side pockets. In fact, even the deck coaming can be used as a storage area. Every possible square inch of this boat is used to absolute advantage. Now, the overall length of the Sea Eagle is 6.8 metres or 23 feet. Her beam is 2.4 metres or 7 feet 10, which makes her legally trailable, but behind quite a large car, I should add. The internal length is 5.7 metres or 18 feet 8, which is really quite substantial. She has a hull dead rise of 20 degrees, which gives her a very soft ride, plus stability at rest, and the top sides up forward, both above the chines are flared, and underneath the chines are reversed, so that she throws spray well down, which is nice to have in a centre console boat because you don't have the protection of a cabin or a windscreen, and the more you can stop water from coming aboard, the better. In fact, that is one of the reasons that the deck coaming is raised from about midships forward, just to give her a little bit more freeboard and minimise the amount of spray that comes aboard. Her weight is between 800 and 1200 kilos depending on equipment and the type of outboard fitted, and her standard outboard capacity is 115 to 175 horsepower. Now, that can be varied up to 250 horsepower by special order, as can any other aspect of the overall fit out of the boat. John Lazaro, who builds these boats, will build them to custom specifications, whatever the owner may require. Now, a couple of other points. I was very interested in the fact that the aft marlin boards are made up out of stainless steel, welded stainless steel, so they don't trap water, but they're still eminently usable. And also, this is one of the very few boats that I've seen in which the outboard pod is actually moulded as a part of the hull. In most other cases, it is put on as an afterfitting and actually bolted onto the transom of the hull. In the case of this particular boat, it was designed into the overall design of the boat from day one into the overall concept of the boat, and that makes it far more structurally strong, and it also means that there is no chance of leaks popping up around that attachment area. So that is an extremely interesting aspect of the basic design and dynamics of the Sea Eagle. Now, John Lazaro took the Victoria Point Air Sea Rescue organisation out for a test run in this boat, and they were so impressed that they ordered one, but they weren't able to come up with the full price of the hull. So John got busy with the material suppliers. He put the labour and the use of the mould in himself and built the boat for them. And Victoria Point Air Sea Rescue have a magnificent yellow Sea Eagle, which they use in all of their operations. So that certainly is testimony to the performance, the strength and the solidity of this boat and its ability to do the job that it's being asked, because in air sea rescue situations the boat must be capable of coming up with all aspects of performance regardless of what the sea conditions may be. Certainly an excellent testimony. And one other little point, because centre consoles don't have any comfortable accommodation, and I often mention comfortable accommodation at sea, John has set this boat up so that you can put a soft cover around the console and all over the forward end of the boat, which means that if you are at sea and the weather blows up or you need comfort for some other reason, you can simply clip this cover on. It has no effect on the way in which the boat is driven or handled. It doesn't restrict it in any way, and it means with a couple of sleeping bags and some cushions and pillows, the kids or the wife or people can be comfortable up under that soft cover right over the forward end of the boat. A tour de force from John Lazaro. The Sea Eagle has impressed me ever since I first saw it at the Sanctuary Cove Boat Show several years ago. I was very happy to get it on the water, and my impressions of it from looking at it static and on the trailer was certainly borne out by quite a magnificent performance on the water. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back. We produce a lot of corporate videos in our studios here, and we recently put a video through which impressed me very much with the quality of the product and with the amount of benefits that it offers to virtually anybody who owns any sort of a house. Now, concrete's been with us for a couple of 100 years, and it's responsible for changing the entire face of civilization. A large percentage of the civilised area of this planet is covered with concrete, and it's used, of course, to build high-rise buildings and bridges and structures whose performance is predictable and can be tailored to whatever the requirement may be. But one of the difficulties with concrete is that it's not necessarily that attractive to look at. And I was approached by CCI, Coloured Concrete Industries, which is based on the Gold Coast recently, to put together a video which shows what they can do with the surface of ordinary, grey, uninteresting concrete. Now, the basis of CCI's offering is a coating of existing concrete surfaces to give them a far more attractive appearance, or the application of a special surface treatment to concrete slabs and paths as they are laid, in order again to give them an extremely attractive surface finish. Now, as far as the coating is concerned, for an existing path, the path is first prepared by acid washing and then by washing it off with a high pressure water blaster, which neutralises the acid and cleans the surface. The overlay is then handled in a very interesting fashion. They use a special base coat which goes down over the top of the concrete and which has a number of additives to the basic cement mix, one of them being an acrylic cement modifier which is latex based and which allows the surface coating to adhere extremely well to the surface underneath, no matter how old it may be. Over the top of that is placed a paper stencil, and then over the top of the stencil they spray the final finish. Now, that finish can be in any type of pattern, in any colour or combination of colours that you may require or desire, and in fact it could also have a special fleck added to it, so it almost exactly matches the appearance of flagstones or of pavers or of any other type of surface that you may like to imagine. Now, the fleck is put in afterwards, but the overall application is a relatively simple process. They use a special spray gun. As I said, the material that they put on adheres completely to the surface underneath, to the substrate, and it's been tested to be extremely hard, so it has very, very good long-term wearing properties. In fact, some of the tests have involved extended time frame tests over highly trafficked areas with a large percentage of the traffic wearing stiletto heels, and the surface has come up with no problems whatsoever. Now, the second method involves the application of a special stamped overlay onto a pad before the concrete of that pad has dried. And in the case of the path leading to this gazebo, the formwork is set up and it's made sure that that is actually absolutely true and accurate. The concrete is laid and troweled. The colour is then put over the surface of the concrete, and a special stamp is used to put the divisions of whatever pattern you may require in the surface of the concrete. That is then tidied up as the stamps are removed, and a fleck is then put over the surface. Now, the resultant finish is spectacular indeed. It looks very much like pavers, or if you like, tiles, but it has the added advantage of having no divisions and no cracks in between the pattern, so that you can't get weeds and grass growing up through the pattern itself. The third application is very similar to the first one, but it goes over an uncured concrete pad. It involves the application of the stencil to the concrete before it dries. Then over the top of the stencil goes the colour, and that goes on in a reasonable thickness so that it looks even more like pavers, and you can have absolutely any pattern you desire, including this quite interesting circular brick pattern which is in the middle of the path, and certainly enhances the overall look of it. Now, again, the stencil goes down over the wet concrete. It is troweled in. Over the top of that goes the colour, which has the acrylic cement modifier incorporated in it, and then over the top of that again goes the special colour and the fleck, which is applied to all of these surfaces. Then the stencil is lifted. In all cases, all of these surfaces are then treated with a special clear coat, which is acrylic based, and which reduces the wear factor, maintains the appearance, and also it shields the surface from ultraviolet bombardment, which allows it to maintain its colour over an extended period of time. Now the combination of patterns and colours and surface finishes is almost limitless. CCI have a huge range of different surface finishes. It can be applied on uneven surfaces, it can be applied up and down slopes, it can even go up stairways. So it certainly is a wonderful way to enhance the overall appearance of your house, to fit in with whatever landscaping you may have, and your pattern can be designed so that it does that extremely well. And it's also extremely reasonably priced, and the value that it will add to your property goes way beyond what this application procedure will cost. Stamped concrete, which is called faux brick, the trade name is faux brick, and that's spelled F-A-U-X, which is a French word for false brick, from CCI, Coloured Concrete Industries from the Gold Coast. If you'd like more information, give us a call. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back. Whether you like it or not, Christmas is only about 3 months away, and that's the day after tomorrow as far as I'm concerned with my busy schedule. And of course at Christmas time everybody's thoughts turn to toys. Now toys have become very sophisticated in the last few years or so, and you can buy some absolutely magnificent radio controlled model cars, and an example is this Tamiya radio controlled Jeep. Now it comes ready to run apart from charging the batteries, and it comes also with a battery charger and with the battery, so you have to buy absolutely nothing extra. The batteries in the Jeep itself are rechargeable NiCads, and in the hand controller it's simply a 9-volt battery. Now that hand controller you hold in your left hand, and that is your steering wheel, that is your throttle, and it gives you forward, neutral, reverse and left and right steering. And when you go into reverse, of course, you can use it as a brake. Now it's not four-wheel drive, but it's an astonishing off-road car, as you can see from these shots here. It'll do jumps, it'll do wheel stands, it'll do all kinds of things, and it's an extremely high quality piece of equipment. It's from Tamiya, who are famous throughout the world for making radio control gear, and it's a wonderful thing. And Benny, my little fella, has had an absolutely wonderful time with this car over the last 3 months or so. He got it for his birthday, and he can't kill it no matter how hard he tries. Now we have them, they're normally in the shops around about $250. We have them for only $229.95 plus $14.50 postage and handling, and it's for ages from 4 to around about 94. So everybody can enjoy it. In fact, Benny gets quite upset when I won't let him drive it because it's my turn. Absolutely wonderful. $229.95 plus $14.50 postage and handling. Call us at Conroy's Family Store on 008 805